The reality is he broke the rules more than once, yet he and his government that he leads and advises has continued to lie to the British public, and we can't let them win this time. Not again. This is too important. There are too many lives that are being lost. We are now the nation with the most deaths through COVID of anywhere else in the planet. I want to share a few thoughts about the Dominic Cummings situation, because I believe something very, very serious is going on that, if not addressed, will eat into the very heart of our democracy, and I'm worried. I first came across Dominic Cummings in 2016 when I was working on the Britain Stronger in Europe campaign, and I'd worked on campaigns before, but 2016 was different. I'd never witnessed such nasty, divisive and also dishonest campaigning in my whole life. We all know £350 million a week slogan, but there was also the 5 million migrants about to come to Britain from the EU, or that Turkey was going to join the European Union and flood our NHS. The lies just went on. But it was effective, it was powerful, and it won. And then the general election in 2019, the Cummings-led election, had all the same hallmarks. It was the same tactics, the same moral or lack of moral compass, and the same Twitter bots and social media groups that just propagated fake news and lies upon lies. A litany of these groups portraying the Labour Party and Jeremy Corbyn as the worst party or person on earth. They gained traction and reached more than any other media outlet, and a fact checker stated that the Conservative social media ads had misrepresented the truth 5,800 times. I woke up on the 12th of December, like many others, brokenhearted, but also questioning whether we could ever have genuine democracy again in this nation, when we was facing a machine with seemingly so little conscience, when we're facing a party that doesn't seem to have much regard for truth. Then comes along coronavirus, a virus that can't lie, a virus that can't be manipulated, that takes lives and with just a few wrong moves can cause unprecedented damage. And I watched with horror as Boris Johnson declared that we would lose many, many lives and was speaking about herd immunity. Didn't people realise what that meant? That thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of lives might be lost. And it just again felt like a mark of leadership that had no conscience. But I stayed silent. What can you do? The country needed leadership, but it also needed unity. It needed us all to pull together, and so that's what I did, and I got on with setting up community responses to the COVID crisis, working with businesses and listening to concerns, trying to present solutions and options that the government might follow in order to protect some of the potential fallout and damage. And I watched as the death toll rose, and yes, we did go into lockdown eventually, but it always felt too late and unclear. And as we moved out of lockdown, it still felt unclear. And then we hear of the Cummings 260-mile journey to Durham, potentially twice, and the trip along the river at Barnard Castle, and I thought, he's gone. And yet I sat astounded as Boris Johnson not only didn't sack him, but completely agreed with his actions. Nothing Cummings himself said had any ring of truth to it. It was just lie upon lie. But of course, that's how they've got to power and stayed in power for this long. Every battle they've won based on lies and manipulation. And a local Conservative tweeted just yesterday morning at the news that the Labour Party and all the opposition parties were going to come together and hold the government to account. What can they do? They've got a majority of -80, meaning that the Conservatives have got all the power. And what can anyone do? And someone asked me, well, what can we do? And I said this, and I'll read my tweet. I said, we organise, we expose their lies, we ensure this never goes away, that this can't be swept under the carpet, we fight and we unite. There are far more good people in the world than isn't. There are far more people across the political divide, Brexit and Remain, Conservative and Labour, that want democracy, that want fairness. Cummings is saying this is an anti-Brexit fight against him, trying to divide the country again. The reality is he broke the rules more than once, yet he and his government that he leads and advises has continued to lie to the British public, and we can't let them win this time. Not again. This is too important. There are too many lives that are being lost. We are now the nation with the most deaths through COVID of anywhere else in the planet. We can't allow them to manipulate truth any longer. We must hold them to account. So please, question what you see and read. If there are groups that you're in that promote hate and lies, leave them. If you're a journalist, keep up with all of your scrutiny. It is working. If you're a campaigner, campaign for a free press. And if you're an activist, stand however you can in protest at these actions. We can't stay silent. We must unite. We must fight what's going on. This is important. This is about democracy. This is about right and wrong.